are getting into September now, and I want to let you know that we are going to be doing our challenges again, our weekly challenges. So what happens, it's going to be kind of like VBS, but if you complete the challenge, I'll give you a challenge every week at the beginning of the video. You complete the challenge and you send your response either by video or messaging or texting or audio, whatever. You send it to kids@evangelnapanee.com or through private message, and you get entered into a draw. So if you participate every week, your name will go in the draw that many times. So if there's 4 Sundays and you do in the month of like October, then your name will get into the draw 4 times. If there's 5 Sundays, if there's 3 Sundays, whatever. That would be a weird month if there's only 3 Sundays. But every time you complete the challenge for that week, your name gets into a draw. Now, I don't really know why I'm hiding under my table to tell you this news. I just thought it'd be kind of a cool spot to tell some exciting news. I don't know why I felt I needed to hide. But it's going to be great, and I can't wait to see who's our winner for October. So your first challenge, my memory is not so good. How about you remind me of one of the videos in the summertime that you really liked? So it could have been Miss Shalana and Ellie. It could have been a funny clip from Mrs. Weirs, or I don't know, something maybe I talked about, but I don't even remember what I talked about. So let me know, send it in, and your name will go in the draw for next month. Bye.
Set apart from the ash, I am born again, forever safe in the Savior's hands. You are more than words could say.
Hi guys, it's Christine from Evangel Temple. Thanks for joining us for Sunday School today. So, I was thinking of a good lesson that we could do for Sunday School, and we were outside flying paper airplanes, and I was struck by something. Eli and Zoe, my kids, had this book, The Best Paper Airplane on the Planet book, given to them by their grandma. And what happened was, Grandma took them, and it comes with a whole bunch of folded pieces of paper already. She took them, she had them each pick a piece of paper, and she went through the instructions for how to fold the best paper airplane on the planet, something that would fly really, really well. She thought she was following the instructions very carefully, and they folded paper airplanes, and they went outside to fly them. And do you know what happened? They didn't fly. The paper airplanes did not fly anywhere because the instructions that were given, that were very specific, were not actually followed carefully. So I sat down with the kids with the same book and the same instructions, and we tried again. And do you know what we found out? We found out that Grandma, by mistake, had made a really important mistake in following the instructions on one of the most important folds on the paper airplane. So what happened was, when the kids were folding the paper airplanes and they missed the really important instruction for the most important step, the paper airplanes didn't fly. In fact, they crashed right to the ground, which was very upsetting for everyone because they were told that it was going to be the best paper airplane and would fly so well. When that didn't happen, everyone was really disappointed. So we figured out our mistake by going back to the instructions and fixing them, following them really carefully, and then trying again to fix them. That reminds me of the importance of following instructions in our lives. If we don't follow the instructions set out by us, then our lives are really hard when they crash and are disappointing. They're just not what God intended our lives to be. The really happy news, though, is God gave us very clear instructions for how to live our lives so that we can fly and be beautiful and wonderful and be the best paper airplanes that we can be. We're not actually paper airplanes, but I like the analogy. If we follow instructions really carefully, our lives will be a lot easier and we'll fly and soar and do what we're supposed to do instead of being disappointing and hard. The good news is that those instructions are found in the Bible. And there are some instructions like love your neighbor, don't steal, a whole bunch of what seem like rules, but it's really God's way of showing us how to live the lives that He wanted us to have. Deuteronomy 5, chapter 32 in the Bible says, "So be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. Do not turn aside from the right or the left." Be really careful to follow the instructions for making a paper airplane so your airplane flies really well. Be really careful to follow the instructions in the Bible so that your lives are really easy and fly really well. Be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. We can find those instructions in the Bible. Now that we know the importance of following God's instructions, I want you to make your own paper airplane, following my instructions really carefully so that you can make your own paper airplane that flies so well. This paper airplane fold is called the Nakamura lock. So we are going to do how to fold the Nakamura lock together, following instructions very carefully. So we're going to come over here. What I have here is a standard size piece of paper, which is 8.5 inches by 11 inches. And the first step is that you're going to fold it in the middle. Make sure it's really carefully in the middle with a sharp, crisp fold so that you have a big, long rectangle. The second step is that you're going to open up your sheet so that it looks like that. And we have our fold along the middle. I also have some pre-folds done because it's really hard to do this with one hand. The next step that you're going to do is take each corner of the top and we're going to fold it down into the middle very crisply. You're going to do the same on the other side. So take the corner, fold it down into the middle. Looks like your standard beginning of any paper airplane. The next step is you're going to take the top of that and we're going to imagine a line at the bottom of the folds that we just made, and we're going to fold our top down right along the bottom. So we're going to make sure it's a nice, crisp, sharp fold. That will make our airplane fly really well. What you have should look like this. The next step is we're going to imagine that there's a little dot, and I actually drew a little dot on the paper right here, just so you could see. It's about an inch up from the top of what would be the top of the fold. And we're going to imagine a dot there. And what you're going to do is you're going to now bring each corner down. So see how it's not coming directly along the center line. It's kind of on an angle. Down, right to your imagined dot on each side. So we're going to make them sharp and crisp, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So that what we would have looks like that. Now the lock part of the Nakamura lock is this little fold here, and it's actually quite an important fold. We're going to take the little tip of the paper airplane right here. See this little flappy thing? And we're going to fold it up, and we're going to lock it into place. Making sure it's straight around the two folds that we just brought down. So that is the lock, and that's going to hold our paper airplane in place. Your paper airplane should look like mine right now with the little lock holding those two flaps. And what we're going to do now is flip the paper airplane over. We're going to fold it in half so that we can see the lock on the outside. I want to make sure all these are very strongly folded so you can see the lock on the outside and there's nothing on the inside. So that's how you know that you've done it correctly. The last fold, this is the most important fold of the whole airplane. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide this little top section into two. So we're going to fold it in about half. And you're seeing that it's not coming flush with the edge, but it is flush with the bottom of the airplane. So we're going to fold it along that line, and it will look like this. So you'll see that I have folded it. I've divided this little part in half and folded it so that the bottom, what was the top edge, I guess, now runs along the bottom of the paper airplane. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I just flipped it over. We're going to divide this section in two, and we are going to bring this down so that what was the top will now run along the bottom. Make sure it's a really strong fold, and then voila, you have your own paper airplane. And now, let's see how they fly. On your marks, get set, go guys. Not at me, ah! You pinged me right in my head. Oh, you're so goofy. Let's see how they fly. That way, goofs. Whoa, look at the airplane fly. Here's another one. Whoa, look at the airplane fly. Way better when we follow the instructions.